In a stunning turn of events, John Deere, the iconic American agricultural machinery manufacturer, has made a bold move that has left former President Donald Trump reeling. On the global stage, the company's announcement of a significant overseas expansion has not only challenged Trump's economic vision, but has also sparked a fierce political and economic showdown that could reshape the future of American agriculture. As Trump retaliates with fiery rhetoric and punitive tariffs, John Deere stands its ground, prioritizing business strategy over political pressure in a clash that has far-reaching implications for farmers, equipment prices, and the agricultural industry as a whole. For generations, John Deere has been a cornerstone of rural America, with its tractors and equipment synonymous with reliability and innovation. Through wars, economic downturns, and political shifts, the company has remained a steadfast presence, earning the trust of farmers nationwide. However, this legacy faced a seismic disruption when John Deere announced plans to move parts of its manufacturing and operations overseas. On the surface, the decision seemed pragmatic, intended to cut costs, avoid foreign tariffs, and access burgeoning international markets. Yet to Trump and his supporters, it represented nothing short of a betrayal of American values. Trump, whose political brand depends on the promise of revitalizing domestic manufacturing, viewed John Deere's move as a direct affront to his America First agenda. Throughout his campaigns, he promoted policies to punish companies that outsourced jobs while rewarding those that kept production in the United States. John Deere, a symbol of rural America and a company deeply connected to his voter base, was expected to embody this vision. But when it instead chose global expansion, the decision ignited a firestorm, turning what could have been a routine corporate strategy into a high-stakes political battle. At one of his signature rallies, Trump wasted no time lambasting John Deere, calling it disloyal, and vowing a punishing 200% tariff on any products manufactured abroad. This tariff, aimed at crippling the profitability of Deere's overseas ventures, was more than just a policy. It served as a public warning to other corporations daring to defy his economic playbook. Initially, it seemed this aggressive stance might force John Deere to retreat. However, in a stunning display of resolve, the company refused to flinch. Executives doubled down, framing the expansion as a critical long-term strategy unaffected by short-term political pressure. The more Trump escalated his attacks, ramping up threats and rallying his base for a boycott, the more resolute John Deere appeared, revealing a rare corporate defiance that made this feud personal. We have employees and customers in over 130 countries. We have operations located in around 30 countries where we have factories and offices, and our number one goal is to make sure that we're structuring our business in those markets as times change. Behind John Deere's unwavering stance are cold, hard economic realities. Rising labor costs, stringent U.S. environmental regulations, and supply chain bottlenecks have rendered domestic manufacturing increasingly untenable for global players. By setting up operations in countries with lower costs and fewer hurdles, John Deere aims to remain competitive, mirroring strategies long employed by giants like Ford and Caterpillar. Beyond cost savings, this move targets the surging demand for farming equipment in markets like Brazil, India, and China, regions where agricultural growth outpaces that of the U.S. To cede these opportunities to rivals like Kubota or Mahindra would jeopardize Deere's dominance in a fiercely competitive industry. Trump's tariff threats, however, introduce a complicating twist. While aimed at keeping Deere's operations domestic, they could provoke retaliatory tariffs from other nations, increasing the cost of American-made Deere equipment abroad and reducing its global market share. This tit-for-tat could also raise prices for United States farmers already battered by economic headwinds. Caught in this crossfire, farmers face a wrenching dilemma: stick with a trusted brand, now at odds with their political hero, or back Trump's vision at the risk of higher costs and fewer options. American farmers, many of whom are part of Trump's rural base, find themselves conflicted. For decades, John Deere has really set the gold standard, with its machinery being absolutely essential to so many livelihoods. However, Trump's call to punish the company, well, it resonates with folks who see outsourcing as a kind of betrayal of American workers. Some people have actually pledged to abandon Deere, turning instead to alternatives like Case IH or Kubota. Others, though, hesitate, understanding that it's global economics, not disloyalty, that really drives Deere's decisions. There's a lot of worry that crippling the company could totally backfire, leading to domestic job losses. and honestly, more expensive equipment at a time when rural America is already struggling with rising fuel costs, unpredictable weather, and falling crop prices. The potential fallout extends beyond mere sentiment. If Trump's tariffs take effect, John Deere won't absorb the hit, it will pass it on. Tractors and combines, already expensive, could become prohibitively costly, especially for small and mid-sized farms. Historical precedent looms large. Trump's 2018 steel and aluminum tariffs significantly increased costs for U.S. manufacturers, not just foreign rivals, with consumers bearing the burden. A similar pattern here could result in farmers being squeezed, dealerships facing strain, and rural economies further eroded. Paradoxically, instead of keeping jobs in the United States, such policies might actually accelerate Deere's global transition, as the cost of remaining home just grows untenable. Wall Street, ever pragmatic, has definitely taken notice. Investors, unshaken by political theatrics, focus on profits and growth. John Deere's stock has fluctuated as markets weigh the risks of Trump's wrath against the rewards of global expansion. Some people see Deere's strategy as pretty prescient. Lower costs and tariff-evading tactics could, really strengthen its advantage, while others caution of a potential farmer backlash that could damage its brand irreparably. This uncertainty reflects a broader tension in American manufacturing. Can Trump's nationalist agenda reverse decades of globalization, or is it, a futile struggle against economic forces? Trump's pledge to revive U.S. manufacturing fueled his rise, attributing job losses to trade deals and corporate greed. Yet the reality is honestly more complicated. Automation, not just outsourcing, has decimated factory floors. Machines now surpass human labor in cost and efficiency. Even if production returned, robots, not workers, would likely dominate. With high wages, strict regulations, and dependence on foreign supply chains, the obstacles to Trump's vision multiply. Tariffs alone cannot untangle this complexity. A complete economic reboot, think workforce retraining and infrastructure reform, would be necessary. This is a challenge that's honestly far beyond current policy. For John Deere, the stakes here are existential. Its global gamble could, either solidify its status as an agricultural titan or unravel its century-old bond with American farmers. If Trump's base actually maintains a boycott, sales could plummet, empowering competitors like Kubota or New Holland to swoop in. However, switching brands isn't straightforward. Farmers' operations are, deeply intertwined with Deere's ecosystem, from software to parts, and, history suggests that boycotts eventually fade. Nike and Starbucks, they navigated similar challenges, but Deere's dependence on a patriotic Trump-up-supporting clientele really makes this a riskier proposition. This standoff, honestly, represents a microcosm of a larger reckoning. Competitors are circling, from established players like Case 1H to newcomers selling autonomous tractors. A pricing error by Deere could, shift the market, while broader trends like automation, sustainability, and changing trade dynamics all indicate a farming future that's, really in flux. John Deere's defiance is testing corporate America's strength against political power. If it succeeds, it could honestly encourage others to prioritize profit over patriotism. If it stumbles, the resulting chill could, hinder bold moves across the industry. So who's right? Trump's tariff saber rattling aims to protect American jobs, but, it risks punishing the very farmers he claims to champion. John Deere's global pivot reflects economic necessity, but honestly, it invites a backlash that could fracture its heartland base. Neither side shows signs of backing down in this game of economic brinkmanship. As the dust settles, the true cost, whether borne by farmers, consumers, or the industry itself, will reveal whether this clash was a triumph of principle or a miscalculation with lasting scars. For now, the world watches as a tractor titan and a political titan battle it out with American agriculture hanging in the balance.